Hello! Happy fabulous Friday. My name's Nina. Welcome back to my channel. It's a really good life. How are you? It's a beautiful day here in Wollongong. I am just working through my new workbook, the Depression and Bipolar Handbook by Chris Aiken, MD. If you haven't seen my last vlog, you probably should go and check it out. I actually had my first appointment in Sydney with my new psychologist, Joe, and I talked about how fantastic it was to finally have, you know, the right people on board your treatment team, so to speak. Ah, what a relief. Anyway, this book, every session with Joe, we're working through, you know, a chapter of this book, and I'm treating it pretty much like a 12-step program, you know, like they use in Alcoholics Anonymous, really working the program. Because it takes a lot of work to stay well when you're living with bipolar, not to mention also living with MS. For instance, this chapter here, we're looking at cognitive symptoms, and the reality is that having a mood disorder like bipolar disrupts your memory, attention and concentration, and every episode of either mania or depression that you have causes damage to the brain. It can be repaired to, you know, to some extent, but it talks about executive functioning issues and how some tips and tricks on how to, you know, manage that. But also, one important thing I thought to say is a lot of people with disability are on low incomes, and, you know, this book costs $45. I bought it from Amazon. And because it's directly related to my disability, I did claim this back from my consumables budget in my NDIS plan. I'm not telling you to do that. Don't go and think that Nini told you to do it, so it's all okay. It's, you know, everything is individual, and you'll need to go through your NDIS can I buy it checklist to see if it pertains to you. But this has definitely been a huge help for me. So anyway, I have to go because the sun is shining and I've got shit to do. So let's get on with the day. Just about to settle down for the night. I do apologise if the light is flashing. I hate when you film and fluoro lights flash. It's like a pulsating disco, so I apologise for that. I've been out running errands today and had a really busy day. I'm really quite tired, but I'm going to chill out soon and watch Law & Order SVU. It's one of my favourite shows. Tomorrow I'm going to Sydney to go to see the Archibalds. I love going every year. I haven't been like for the last 2 years because of COVID. So this is going to be my chance. Now, I wanted to show you one interesting thing that I have to do at this time of night. So my psychologist has asked me to start using iMood Journal. I'll show you. It's an app. iMood Journal. So every night I come onto this app, and hope you can see that clearly, and I have to choose what mood I've been in for that day, and just say, for instance, I choose hypermanic, right? So my energy levels might be slightly up, mood level up, hypermanic. So I click on that, and then it comes up with this, and you can click on where you are, like your location. You can add in some photos if you feel that that's appropriate, like what's been happening for you during the day. And then in this part, you can track like your sleep quality, general mood, overall, any kind of prescription drug intake, any kind of recreational drug intake, all of the things that go into your health and well-being, exercise, etc., etc. And then you go back to down here, and it will give you a summary. So if you can see this, hope you can see this clearly. It gives you a summary, and it starts tracking over a 12-month period where your moods go, and the normal, what is normal for you, and then you can look back at the records and what the triggers may or may not have been, and what's working and what's not. So that's what I do every night now, religiously. I use iMood Journal. There you go. So, with that being said, I'm going to head off and watch some Law and Order. I might even have some Rolo chocolate. Shh. Tomorrow, I'll take you along to the Archibalds. Until then, good night. Good morning, happy Saturday. I'm in Sydney. I was meant to be going today for my first lesson, one-on-one with an art teacher. Like, I was going to start this new art program, but she texted me last night and said she had to reschedule. Something had came up, and I thought, you know what, why waste a beautiful Saturday? So I pivoted and I'm heading to the Sydney Art Gallery to go to the Archibalds. So the Archibalds is like a national portrait prize competition where all these really awesome artists come together and paint portraits of famous people, or infamous people, or people that aren't famous at all. And I normally go every year, but COVID's put a stop to that. So anyway, I've got my Permville F5 strapped down in the back. Busy traffic in Sydney as always. That's the end of the Archies now. I'm going to head into the cafe and get myself a cup of tea. as always. I loved it just as much as I always do, seeing all of the artists pull together such a rich tapestry of stories. I always love reading the little blurb beside every painting. And one thing I've noticed this year is there's been quite a few artists from Studio A, which is a social enterprise for people with intellectual disability, and apparently they have a website. I'm going to check that out, where you can buy their paintings. So this is the Young Archies, where young artists under, I think it's under 18, paint, but my God, they're amazing. They're easily as good as the actual artists.
So Kate, Karen,
Hello. You'll have to excuse my rough shod appearance today. I just got out of the shower and it's like 3:30 in the afternoon. I was meant to go to my MS peer support group meeting today, but I was just too fatigued, so I didn't. I wanted to show you something called the Resilience Project, and I don't know if you are familiar with this or not, but I'm going to talk you through it. Hey Alexa, can you play classical music, please?
The station, relaxing classical, free on Amazon Music.
Alexa, please play louder. Thank you. Okay, so the Resilience Project is an Australian thing that came about from a guy in Melbourne called Hugh Van Seilenberg, and I went to hear him speak recently. It's all about the GEM principle, so gratitude, empathy and mindfulness, and I bought recently his 6-month journal. You can Google it, you'll find it on the Resilience Project's website, and see, I'm starting this, so every Sunday now I have to come in here and do some prep to get me ready for the week ahead. So what am I most looking forward to this week? What are my challenges that I can foresee coming? What am I going to do to make sure I overcome them? Scheduling my movement for the upcoming week, so I write down movement. What was I most proud of this week? And what am I most looking forward to about Monday, etc., etc. And then throughout the week you chart if you're eating healthy, are you practicing mindfulness, your sleep patterns and all of that. So coupling this with the mood journal that I was showing you earlier, I'm making a lot of changes in my life, and you're probably wondering what's happened. I don't know if I've actually explained it to you properly, but at the beginning of the year, I suffered a pretty severe MS relapse, and as a result of that, it was such a severe MS relapse that the inflammation in the brain led to me experiencing something called foreign accent syndrome, and I literally was speaking in a Russian accent. I kid you not. It was a very time, a very scary time, but also a time that has really changed me coming through that, and it's made me reflect on the changes that I need to make in my life to look after myself better, and to put in place practices that really do put myself, my mental and well-being, physical well-being first, not anybody else's. This is just an example. This is on my Instagram account. I film myself every day. Because he said that he has heard of the condition, but to actually meet it face to face is like once in a lifetime. So He rang a neuro registrar at hospital, and neuro registrar thought it was really. Like, isn't that freakish? That's just freakish shit. It really is. And the weird part about it was, for 10 days, I had that, like 10 days, 2 weeks, my accent was changing every day. It was somewhat different, and I couldn't change it. And it became really, really distressing because I was even more and more isolated, because if I spoke, people would hear the accent and want to know why. So that's the kind of the background as to why I'm making all of these changes and why I'm really, really starting to prioritise more and more my own well-being.